want to do a little video on we've gone over in a lot of our survival classes, we've gone over the rule of threes, of course, 3 minutes without air, 3 hours in extreme conditions without shelter, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food. But all those, to take care of all those things, there's also a lesser used little, I guess you'd call it an acronym, of the 5 C's of a survival kit. And those are the 5 things that you absolutely have to have if you're going to be out in a survival situation. And what I've done is there's a lot of different interpretations of that, but what I have done is I have put together what I have in my own personal bag, and then I've got a couple of options other than that. But I can tell you, I went back and looked, and what I have in my own personal bag is right around the $100 mark, maybe a little over, a little less, and that's really not a lot of money to put together an entire bag for a survival situation. But anyway, your 5 C's. Your first C, a cutting instrument. My personal choice is a cold steel. I think that this is what they call their leather neck. It is a cheaper, I won't call it a cheap, it is a cheaper option to a K-bar USMC knife. It's a lot like it. It's got a nice rubber handle on it. You can look at mine and tell I have abused it. I've baton wood with it. I use the blade edge to scrape against my ferro rod. A lot of things that a lot of people would not do. And it has held up very well. It holds a good edge, and it hadn't broke. So this is a plus. But this ran about $47 when I bought it brand new. And all the things that I'll talk about here, I bought most of these brand new. I bought them new, but I didn't buy them new to put them in a bag, not use them. I've tried them and proven them. And I can highly recommend this particular knife because it's very good. But garage sales, Craigslist boards, local buy, sell, and trade boards, stuff like that, you might even get them a lot cheaper. Second item on the list, the second C, would be something, they call it combustion. It's not really combustion, but I mean something that you can start a fire with, something you can get a spark with. And I personally, since I have my knife, I like to go with a ferro rod. Now these are 3/8 diameter ferro rods. They come with a heavy, thick black coating on them. I got them off Amazon. That was $1. So for $1, you can get a nice ferro rod. And I don't have anything here to throw some sparks on. I don't want to set my table on fire, burn a hole in my tarp, so I'm not going to do it. But trust me, this throws a lot of sparks. It was $1. Once you scratch that black coating off, it is good to go, and it will get the job done as far as that goes. Okay, our third C would be Cordage. This is what I use personally. Again, up to you, whatever you want to use. But what I use is 550 paracord. Get it in all kind of different, the artwork on the outside, but it just needs to be a good quality paracord. But for $9, you can get 100 feet. 100 feet's a lot of cord. But if you want to go a little cheaper, for $6, you can get 50 feet. But paracord, I'll hold this up here real close. Paracord actually is made up of an outer woven band, but then there are 7 smaller strands on the inside. So the reason this is so good to have in a survival situation, there's so many things you can do with paracord. You can use it to obviously tie up all the poles and tie your tarp onto your, if you're making a tarp shelter. You can pull those little strings out of the inside of this, and if you can find a rock and a stick and whittle it down to a gorge hook, you can fish with it. You make yourself a fishing rig and catch fish with it. Of course, you can make snares with it. Build primitive traps, snare type traps, or just spring traps with it. I mean, there's just so much you can do. You never want to be anywhere without some type of cordage, but I just prefer the 550 cord myself. And it's relatively cheap, like I say, 100 feet for $9. Okay, the 4C, container. If you watched season 1 of Alone, Alan, the man that won Alan Kay, the man that won the show, they asked him, out of all the things you had out there with you, what was the most important? And he said, my pot. And if you've done any time camping out in the woods and everything, you understand why that is so important. Because if you can't hold and collect water in something. I've seen people dig holes in the ground and throw hot rocks in it and all that kind of stuff, or dig seepage wells and that kind of stuff. But honestly, that's just nasty. I mean, it's almost impossible to get good, clean drinking water. But if you can collect some water that's fairly clean, but it needs to be processed, having a container that you can put in the fire and rely on to be able to do that, and cooking your meals. If you that animal you catch in the snare, or the fish that you catch on your primitive rig, you need a way to cook them. I mean, you can job them on the stick and put them out there, but to be able to broil them, you can do it without burning them up and making a piece of charcoal out of it. Now, in my bag, I use two different things, depending on where I'm going to go and what I'm going to do. This is a Clean Canteen brand. It's a 40-ounce container. This thing has spent a lot of its life in the fire. It is very durable. It holds up very well. You can see all the burn marks on it. Very good, and actually it has a big enough mouth on it that you can not only boil water in it, but you can actually cut things up and put in there. We boiled potatoes in it before, and you could actually cut fish up, put pieces of fish meat in there and broil them, whatever you want to do. So anyway, this is one thing that I may use. And then the other thing is, if I'm going to be doing more long term, is this is made by a company called Alpine, MSR Alpine, I guess. But it is a multi-pot set of stainless steel pots, and they just collapse on themselves, or they just set inside of each other. You got a generic handle to pick up all of them with, so you have something to lift it with. But each one of these lids actually is a dinner plate. So you got a small 1 liter, and you got a dinner plate on it, and then it fits inside the 2 liter with the dinner plate on top of it, and then all that fits inside the 3 liter. I forgot to put my handle back on. So that fits inside the 3 liter. And this is a nice set. It cost about $60. So it wasn't cheap. It wasn't overly expensive, but it wasn't cheap. But if you're going somewhere and you're going to be there for a while and you need a multi-course meal, or you need to be doing water at the same time over the fire while you're doing cooking meat or something else, that's the way to go. And the last C is cover. You need something to make a shelter out of. This is a 9'4" by 11'4" camo tarp from Harbor Freight. And I have taken this thing out, and I've actually got a couple of videos on my channel where I've done 2 or 3 different type tarp tents out of it. The last camp out myself and my group did, I just strung it up over a tree and just made a kind of a awning type shed over my cot and just slept under it, because we weren't expecting any rain or any wind or anything. But that cost $11. Now, if you want to go a little bit cheaper, this is a thermal tent. It's a pretty nice little deal. The only thing I don't like about the thermal tent is it's made of a thermal blanket material, which would tend to hold in a lot of heat. And this thing comes with the guy wires and everything you would need to set it up as a shelter. It's just kind of like plastic tinfoil, and it's just not very durable. Be very easy to rip and tear. Where this tarp's pretty tough, it's kind of a woven material with coating on it. So to me, the tarp would hold up better. But this is $8 versus this is $11. There's not much difference in the cost. But for all 5 of my items, with the cheapest material, the cheapest options to go in there, I had $84 invested in the 5 items. And if you upgraded and went with the multi-pot system and used the big tarp and everything, it went up to $128. But now this thing's at $60 and this being $22, that's the biggest difference right there. But this is giving you a lot right here. And you could actually go with a different pot, just a single pot setup, and get it a lot cheaper as far as that goes. But that's what I use. That's the 5 items that I have for the 5 C's. And like I say, it can be done for well under $100, and I suggest everybody have one.